Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubois Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I'm out here taking my dogs for a walk. My Dalmatian is in heat right now, so I don't know what it is. I just kind of feel like it's inappropriate of me to take her out in public. Just make things more complicated for not only myself, but other people. But I really got to thinking about the concept of we just jump into stuff as a people. Why is it that we just jump into stuff because of what it is that we have a so-called expert that says this is what we should be doing? This is the way to have your life to be so perfect. This so-called expert is trying to explain things to you. But yet, when we really actually look at the so-called expert, we don't see them doing or having or being about what it is that we actually wanted, that the expert is trying to tell us that we actually do want. That's one thing that I really want to kind of get people to start thinking about a little bit more. When you got someone that's trying to sell you something and they talk about how they're the greatest and the best, what is it that they're promising and guaranteeing you that you're going to get in the end? And then start to just question, why isn't it that you're able to get what it is that you're promising and guaranteeing me? Why is it that you're still having to struggle with this and that and confused here and always sick and always hurt and always broke down, always this, always got all kinds of issues going on? Because that's one thing that I just kind of notice is a very universal thing that goes on with experts, all the way down to diet and fitness, to medical, to skincare stuff, to everything. These people are all trying to sell you something and tell you that if you just get on their program, you do what they do, you're just gonna be, everything's just gonna be so perfect. And then when you see them, you don't see that perfectness. You just take this pill, you just take this medication, and all your depression is gonna go away and everything is gonna be fine. But yet that person that you're talking to is having all kinds of issues and all kinds of problems. And it's like we ignore that because we want to do something that is just becoming so normal today, which is following the crowd. And it doesn't quite make sense to me. You know, me personally, I've kind of always been one that's just always been on the outsides. I've been on the outskirts all the time, all the way down to I could just see that with being what I see in my life with what it is that I do on a day to day. I like literally live on the outskirts. I live on the second to last property in the city that I live in. Like I live on the outskirts. And I've always been on the outskirts. And I've always been very questioning everything that I see when someone's trying to tell me that you have to this and you have to that because I'm the expert and it's the way it has to be. Or if you don't do it the way and you don't have it the way that I have it, then you're not going to be able to live a what someone would say is a successful, good life. And I've realized that being on the outskirts and never just going with the crowd, going with the fads. You know, I'm not that old, but I'm definitely old enough now to see that all these different fads that keep on happening in my short little lifetime that I've seen so far, all the way down to little gadgets, to little slogans, to clothing wear, to there's always these fads that go on that I've just I don't you know I'm not gonna say never, but I'm pretty sure I've never like subscribed to any of them. I've never bought the little gadget because everyone said this is a cool new gadget they had. I never bought the new phone because everyone was like, oh, this is the new phone to get. The only reason I use the phone I use now is because it's the only one that's conveniently available to me. Whereas before, I definitely used to just get whatever I wanted. And it's fascinating to me of being able to see from the outside what goes on in people's minds when they're just like in this have to get, have to get, have to get. And you're just constantly like trying to keep up with like that new fad, that new thing. Because it comes down to, I mean, houses and I mean, even going to like the whole van life thing, going to all that, which at the end of the day, that's kind of a pretty interesting system. Is not trying to show so much like hate towards it anymore, that it's acceptable to live in an RV and all that. But there's like all this all the time that just goes on. Even down some of the stuff I do with the homestead, it's all homesteading stuff. It's like there's always these fads. And it's like everyone is just in this, you're in a rush to get to that new fad, to be in that crowd, to feel and be wanted. And we're quick to listen to what these experts have to say. You know, the first person that starts to make videos on homestead living, it's like, in reality, it's straight up. They have the most subscribers, they have the most views. And it is what it is. And everyone looks at them like they're the expert. And in reality, they're just doing what works for them. And I don't think that that's the part that when I'm on the outside looking in, people quite understand. You're not doing what you want, what actually makes you have any sort of joy. You're doing what someone else has because you see that someone else is happy, and you're thinking that you are also going to be able to get that happiness if you do what they do. But they do what they do because they enjoy it. Because for one, they may just be good at it. And if they're not good at it, they're just living a life. Like I'm living a life that I'm not the best at everything that I do. Some stuff I just have to do. I got to get it done. And that puts me in a situation that it makes me really think a lot about how we can be so gullible and fall into these traps of these next fads and these next things and this next stuff that you have to, Ofi, this next stuff that you have to do to be able to like find that peace and find that happiness. The more and more that you're trying to seek and find that happiness away from what it is that you want to do, that you have inside of you, that's where I see that people, we stumbling and fumbling today. And this past just very, very, very few years has been a very eye-opening experience to me to just see how people are just quick to just jump into something and not actually having any idea of what it is that you're jumping into because you've seen a video and someone was like, see all this shiny, flashy looking stuff, and you jump into it thinking, I'm going to be able to replicate, I'm going to be able to get that. And that's where false advertisement just continues to keep on happening because we're running in a scenario that you're not going to be able to get, just straight up. You're not going to be able to get what it is that these people are promising you and are guaranteeing that you're going to be able to get. Because it comes down to the concept of you got to do the work. And if you don't do the work, you're not going to be able to get it. And there's always something that's always, this is one thing that, talk about dog stuff for half a second, that I was always fascinated with the guy Cesar Millan. I was like, he's phenomenal at working with these dogs. But as far as me trying to learn from him of what it is that he's doing, he can't quite put the words out to what's happening. And that, in my opinion, is what comes down to everyone on this planet that has something that you're really good at. You're really good at drawing. You're really good at cutting grass, running. You're really good at planting and gardening. You're really good at working with animals. There's like a lot of things in there that you do that you can't communicate out. So you're not able to give someone the full total picture. And I notice that really stumbles with me when it comes down to me trying to talk about what it is that I do. There's things that I do that I don't even realize I'm doing. I'm just doing it. And that could put someone to be in an expert status, but it doesn't mean that we should be listening and these say experts should be like our teachers. And we should be doing everything that they have to say, everything that they have to do. Because they're in a different understanding of what's going on. Because it's just what I constantly see with everything. So people try to teach me how to, play my piano better even. And I'm watching them and they're talking to me and they're trying to guide me through it. And I'm like, dude, but you just missed this, this, and this. And it's just been, they've been doing it since 2 years old. And it just, they didn't have to, it just happens. And those few little steps that I miss, that they miss to tell me, can make or break me in reality. Could put me in a situation that I thought I was getting somewhere, but I'm actually not getting anywhere at all. And that comes down to just almost everything on this planet, I've noticed. Everything that we're doing, everything that comes down to it. That's why for me, just talking about one specific topic, it's not just one topic that we're struggling with, it's all the topics. Because we as a people, for some reason, are just wanting to follow the crowd. We just want to see what someone else is doing and realize like 5 other people in your close circle are doing it. And you're like, hey, I got to do that too. As opposed to just, no, you got to do what you got to do. Make happen what you need to make happen. And that's just not normal today. And it's like everything is going on to force feed us to make sure that we don't think for ourselves. And that's what I really want people to just start to simply get working at, is think for yourself. Wonder like, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Why do I care so much about the stuff I care about? Why am I watching the TV shows and all this stuff that I really don't really care for, but I'm watching it because so-and-so said this show is really good. And you're sitting there dedicating 12 to 15 hours of your life into it. And you realize in the end, like, I didn't really like it. And you didn't like it. And then you go on to season 2 thinking maybe it'll get better in season 2. And that's stuff like that. I just want you to just stop for a moment and just think like, why am I doing this? Why do I wash the dishes the way I wash the dishes? Why do I put them the way I put them away? Why do I clean the house the way I clean the house? If you're not cleaning your house or doing your dishes, get that stuff done. Why are you not doing it? It's just everything that's going on. I just want people to just really like look at it and wonder, why am I doing this? Am I doing this the way that I want to do it? Or did somebody tell me that I have to do it like this? It's a fascinating thing, an interesting story. I forget who told it, but it was something that was just eye-opening to me of how we are as people. And how we used to do things compared to how we are today. Someone talking about baking a bacon and ham, and it was their like Thanksgiving tradition to like cut it in half and they literally would throw the other half away and then bake the one half. And then someone was just asking, like, why are you throwing that away? Like, what the heck is wrong with that? The oven can clearly like hold that, but that's today. Back in the days, great grandmas, great great grandmas, the ovens were only so big. It couldn't fit the whole thing. Kahi, I gotta keep an eye on you 100% of the time. This dog goes crazy over females that are in heat. It's some shepherds, man. It's the most like I noticed, like most mixed breed dogs are like mixed with some sort of shepherd because they are obsessive. Kahi, they are obsessive about these girls, and it puts them in a whole different mindset where you think that you have like real good just why I don't want to take her out in public, but you think you got real good control over the dog, and the dog is they're not even thinking anymore. Like they are Kahi, come here. They are not even like with it. They're just like you can see it in their eyes. They're just like, oh my goodness, there's a girl, come here. This is the first time I think I've ever had to call him more than one time in months and months and months. It only happens when she's in heat. Get down. Get down. You're on lockdown right now. I don't need no dang shepherd Dalmatian puppies. That'd probably be a stupid looking dog. But that's how stuff happens because we'd be slipping. That's why I'm not really looking at my camera right now, unfortunately. I apologize for that, but I'm not looking for a sticky situation. I'm not even in the bad times yet. Once I'm in the bad times, I can't even have him out with her. So in about 4, 5, or 6 days from now, he can't even be out near her. He has to be on leash with me 100% of the times. But the story of the throwing the ham away, because years and years and decades ago, Kahi, now you got to heal. Decades ago, the oven wasn't big enough to hold the whole ham. So they cut it in half and threw it away because they didn't have a way to be able to even refrigerate the dang thing. So they only cooked what they needed. But we just keep telling story after story after story down the generation to generation, and we just keep doing that without really understanding why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing things out of tradition that in reality made sense then, but it's not really making sense right now today with what's going on with where we are and what we have. And a lot of that is going on in our lives, that we're just doing things because we think that's what we have to do because that's what, for instance, my mom said, oh, this is how I clean because my mom said to do it like this. But is that actually effective for you where you live with what you're taking care of and the technology that you have? Or is that just what they were able to have and what they did? You're not using a vacuum cleaner because they didn't approve and agree to vacuum cleaners. You're like, you're not using that method. And it's something that is like, can be slowing you down just tremendously because we're trying to do stuff that we don't really even understand, but we're doing it because someone else just put in our brains of, because I said so. And that's the language right there that I would never want to be able to put onto a child and get stuck in their brain of, you do this because I said so. Ofi, Kahi, come on. Do something because I said so. And that's something that can be very, very, very disastrous because we just start to do, come on, because we just start to do stuff without questioning any sort of authority. And we're not questioning authority in any sort. Come on, guys. Kahi, this is your last day being free around here. You're not listening at all. I can't blame you, but still, we got to get better than that. Come here, heal. You on secure prison lockdown right now, homie. Come here. You can't get your eyes off of her. Come here. You can't even listen to me right now because you can't get your eyes off of that. But we're doing things out here because somebody said it that we have to do it, and we don't question it. We don't like push back even a little to say like, well, why do we have to do it like this? Ofi, come here. He's acting like a fool, so I know you'll listen to me. You stay with me then. It's one or the other. I don't care which one. For some reason, my dog that I just got listens to me much better than the one that I've been with for years. Seeing this really gets me questioning a lot about males with females, with women, men with women, and how men get when girls are, ovulating. Do we as humans get the same response as what these dogs do? Because Adam's not even just the dogs, it's the roosters, the cow, the bulls, the billy goats, my goodness, these boys all go wild when girls start to get into heat. And I wonder, do we as humans run into that same case? And that's where we're messing up in society, because we're not realizing and recognizing the instinctual drives that we have in us, that are just the animalistic drives that we have, that are kind of causing a lot of the males to do crazy stuff when they're around girls that are ovulating. It's just stuff that I think about, because my whole life people tell me it's this way and this is how it is. And the more and more I'm getting away from it, the more I'm starting to question a lot of things that kind of just go on my day to day. That I'm not just gonna follow and say, oh, that's what it is? Okay, that's what I gotta do. I'm not just gonna follow and say, oh, those are the laws you want from me? Okay, well, then that's just what it is. We gotta question some things. And that's something that I think that we're not doing, because of that whole I told you so. And because of that whole, we just want to go and be and do what the crowd's doing, and not do what it is that we need to do, not take care of what it is that we need to take care of. And we're just going along and putting a smile on, thinking, assuming, and believing that everyone is happy. You got 5 people to say the same thing. This is the problem with the social media stuff today. This is what's it's fascinating. My stuff that comes on my phone, because depending on who I'm talking to, someone's like, oh, you speak like a Democrat. And then another person is like, oh, you speak like a Republican. And it's very fascinating, because I don't speak like, I feel like either one. And my YouTube, my everything shows me both sides all the time. It's never just on one side. And it's like they can't figure out who I am. And they can't figure out who I am because they can't put me in a box. That everyone just keeps getting stuck and force fed into a box. That this is if you act like this, then this is who you be. This is the rules that you got to follow. This is the people that should be your leaders. And that's what's going on. That we're just being followers, and we're just going with the crowd. And we need to be able to figure out how to be able to get out of that crowd and get out of being in that situation that we're just what was that? That we're just accepting what someone says to us, and we just adapt to just say, yeah, that is what I got to do. That is what I need to make happen. That is what I have no other choice but to be able to just do. And really start to, the one thing I want to say is, think for yourself. Think for yourself in a way of, is what's going on around me actually benefiting me, or is it hurting me? Because in most cases, people, most cases, with most of the stuff that's going on with us on a day to day, it's not helping us. We're only getting hurt more and more every day. You know, my last video, I was talking about how in my world, my life, my prices are going down with stuff. But some of my stuff, the prices are going so much that I'm just like, it's confusing to me on how it's like, it's not helping me. Certain things that are going on in my day to day, it's like, yeah, it's okay, but it's like there's a lot that's actually like for just for me, my individual life that I see going on with what's happening. Some stuff I'm straight up just priced out of, that I don't do anymore. And I'm thinking, like, is everyone else getting better, doing more, or are we all just getting this sense of like things are getting slammed down, that we're not doing that great? And it's that's the part with me, that a lot of this social media stuff is confusing, because it puts you in a situation that it can start force feeding you some stuff that it's like, oh, everybody's doing good. Everyone's doing great. The reason for everything is great because of this person, they make everything great. But then when you really get deep down to the core of like asking people on a personal one-on-one level, you're like, man, you struggling just as much, if not more, than I am. So who are the people that are actually benefiting right now? Those are the stuff that I want to be able to spark more interest, so that we can start to not just stay pushed back on what's going on, but just have a better understanding of why things are going on. And the more and more people that get out of just being in this crowd, being controlled, the more we're going to be able to actually effectively get stuff done on this planet in a way that's going to actually make sense. Because for me, a lot of just what I do on a day to day relies on not people that are even nowhere near me. It relies on stuff that is out of my control. Not even out of my control, but just out of, like, I have no way, no means, no nothing to be able to even think about possibly like doing a lot of what I do on my own. And that confuses me. That really confuses me. Because the whole concept of, we talk about the whole American dream and being free and being the land of the free and all this. The more I look at everything that we do, we are like the furthest. Man, what is that? We are the furthest from being free. I don't know if you can see this ground cover out here, but every year something new comes back, and it's raining here in July, which is, I don't think I've ever lived out here and it's rained in July. I don't think ever. This has been a 6th year. I think it's ever rained in July. But there's some stuff that be creepy crawling and running and zipping and going wild out here. It's a little sketchy. But the dogs like to run after that stuff. This is the only place that I can let them just freely just run and freely go. But that's one thing I'll say is I got the benefit of, but this comes with its risk. It's got its risk for sure. But it's the more and more that I'm just looking around at everything that we do, from today of me putting gas in my car to going to the place to go for a run, I'm just like, everything is set up that we are the furthest from being free. We are very, very far from being free. And there's always something in my life, which is more likely relatable to a whole lot of people's lives. It's like once you start to get into that situation that things are going pretty good, it's like something has to come. It's like right now, my shepherd, he's got something, I don't know what it is. He's got something with his eye happening again. He just had eye problems, just paid too much money for eye medications and appointments to just see that there's a new eye issue. It's not the eye, it's the out around the eye. It's like as soon as there's one thing, it's like there's the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. And that's what I believe is just driving most people in insanity right now. Because a vet visit that 5 years ago used to cost me $15 is now like I can't get out of there without spending at least $300. It's at minimum everyone. I've got at least thousands into each of my dogs right now. Like I can't spend less than three. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but that doesn't sound like freedom to me. That sounds like control. It doesn't sound like freedom to me that I'm able to just be able to purchase items that make sense, to be able to work, and that I had this issue, this issue, this issue. That doesn't sound like freedom to me. It sounds like control to me. Even the simple concept of this simple camera that I'm holding, I can't even like activate it without using a phone and subscribing and going into this and doing this. That doesn't sound like free to me. And a lot of stuff is like that today. You can't even buy a fridge today without like registering something to get the screen on it to work. That doesn't sound like free to me. And more and more of that is just going on, that, we just sign up, we just get into it. Oh, everyone else is doing it. But that's the part that, for me, I want to start to give a little bit of pushback on. Not just doing what everyone else is doing, but start to question why we're doing what it is that we're doing. Start to wonder, why is it that I drive like this? Why is it that I listen to this music? Why is it that I'm watching this TV show right now? Why is it that I'm going to this specific store at this specific time? Start questioning everything that's going on and wondering, are you doing that, or is something dictating you to do that? Because there's something fascinating that I've always did a survey on, is watching people that watch TV. You subscribe to television TV, you have a very good good hefty amount car payment. It's almost like both go together. Because there's one thing that I do notice in the restaurants that I go to eat, when the commercials are coming on, it's just like car after car after car after car after car. And it's showing you, in a sense, like you are nobody if you do not have like this kind of car. You are nobody if you can't do this with the car. And all that, it's controlling you to make you drive into doing and getting and being into something that in reality you actually didn't want. You're happy with your old beater, but everyone around you is like, oh no, your car is this, look at that, your car is that. And when someone else is living in misery, what do they want everyone around them else to be? When you have $1,000 a month car payment and you're drowning from it, and then you add on another 4 or 5 for the insurance and you're drowning, and your neighbor has this old beat down, paid off, cash out car, you start to influence your neighbor with that beater, making fun of them in a way. And not really explaining to them that what they're doing is say I don't want to say right or wrong way, but the more easier way of living to be able to do. And that's what I've been focusing majority of all my life on this past 6 years that I've been living on this property here that I'm at, is getting away from the flashy stuff. Because I noticed that when I shut the TV off, I didn't have such a drive for so much of this fancy things anymore. And then when I started to get the further and further and further away from it, I started to realize man, I got more money, more time, and more availability to be able to do stuff now. And it started to open up my life to be able to just show me a different path. And that's something that, again, is confusing on why is it that me, since the day I can remember, I haven't been a part of the crowd. I've always been on the outside. And there's many people that I listen to that are the exact same way. And they're the ones that I've been learning from, of how to figure out how to actually be able to get a better life, how to find that peace in life. Because the only way that we can find that peace in life is when we're just living for what it is that we actually are looking for, not living what someone else is trying to dictate and tell to us how we have to be and how we should be. And that's the start of getting out of the what I want to say is control, but just the follow the leader and actually being able to understand if the experts are actually the experts. That's why for me, it's easy. I don't know why, but it's easy for me to just look at any dog trainers today because I'm in this stuff. I'm in this. I'm a mechanic working on cars, construction work, working on houses, working with a lot of these animals. I've been in it so long and so much that I can like see the games that are going on. That they're like, they may be really good, but they don't know how to actually communicate everything correctly to you. And you're missing something. And that part that you're missing is what's drowning you right now. It's putting you in a situation that you're struggling more. And then I also see the other side of it where the experts are actually straight up lying to you. They're straight up manipulating you. They're straight up just they know that they're wrong. They know that they're just trying to make money. They know that that's all that they're trying to do. And I could see that so easily. And it's for me, you know, in the dog stuff, it's I could just point every single, I could just look at the trainer stuff, see the site, see what they're doing, see what they're selling, see how it's all packaged, see how it's together, and just why are you lying to people? It's so easy for me to see that. And that's why for me, in reality, it's kind of something that I got to get out of because I don't want to be associated with that, regardless of what I'm talking about and what way I am with it. I don't really want to be associated with, in reality, anything on this planet. I don't want to be like a mechanic, a house builder, a land this, an animal this. I just want to be on this planet, man, and be able to just live and be. And I want to get more people to understand how to just be on this planet and don't have to be this everyone wants to pay attention to, everybody wants to listen to, but someone to just be able to get you to think for yourself. What I do, you don't want to do. What you do, I don't want to do. And I want more people to just understand that. And that's acceptable and that's okay. But what we're doing is listening to people that some of them in the say game are trying to lead you right, but they're not giving you all the information, so it's actually leading you wrong. And some people are just straight up leading you wrong. And it's hard to define the difference between the two when you're in this follow the leader stance, you're in the crowd stance. It's hard to see the difference, but it's so easy to see it when you're just on the outside looking in at what's happening. It's so easy to see the lies and manipulation. It's so easy for me to see. I could talk to people for minutes and figure out like what's actually going on here. Some people I just have zero cares to ever want to communicate with because I could see exactly what's going on. And it's so simple because I'm not on my knees begging for like someone to help me, someone to save me. Even when it comes down to like religious stuff. Like I believe in something, but the more and more that I just have a more understanding on this planet, I don't know if I want to say that or not. Just say it straight up, just the way that it is. Everyone is begging for a savior, as opposed to just looking at yourself as being someone that's able to understand and know what it is that you're actually looking for. Shut up, sit down, do nothing, and see what it is of who you are. See what you want. We're all looking for a savior to come save us. And there's no book on this planet that states that there's a savior that's here to come save you, to just take you out of everything. No, we have to do the work. We got to put work in. We got to do the changes. We have to put the effort in. And then things happen for us. We have to give. And then things can come back to us. I don't know of a single book that just some savior is going to come take all your misery away. It's just going to float you away to the sky and just, you're not going to have issues anymore. That's fantasy, man. That's fantasy. That's not real. And we got experts out here that are stating that that is real. But when you're on the outside and you've always been on the outside looking in, you're going to see the differences here. And that's why, to me, religion is sticky, super sticky. It's easy to see like which ones I know are just straight up lying. But it's hard to see the difference between the ones that actually want to help compared to the ones that are lying, because they look and say the same stuff. It's like 2 words that they change in a whole hour sermon to be able to understand the differences between the two. It's so challenging. And in one of them, you can actually be helping yourself. And in the other one, you could be just looking at that expert and giving everything that you have to that expert and end up with nothing while they're just living life, living good. And that comes down to every industry. From me trying to hire someone to cut this field down. I could have one guy come in here and give me a price and say this is what it is, and another guy give me another price. And another guy can give me a price and change this and do this and jump through this hoop and jump through this hoop, and now here's your final bill. I'm going to look at it and say, what the heck, buddy? Like, I thought you said you was gonna cut the 10 acres and it was gonna be 100 an acre. Where is this $5,000 coming from when it was supposed to be one? Because they're making you jump through these hoops to actually be able to get it. And there's a lot of business that goes on like that. And that's something that my dog training is sticky, man. I guarantee you these results to get your dog this way. And then they're like, well, now you need this, you need this, you need this. And I'm like, what's going on here? I thought you were the professional. You were the expert. You knew all this. But now this is this, like this is this. And it's just, it's mass manipulation that it's easy. I don't know why, but it's too easy for me to see today. And that's why I'm always very hesitant on everything that I say. A couple videos go that I just don't post because I say 1 or 2 words in it. 2 words in it that's can lead someone off because I just said it in a way of not trying to manipulate, but trying to just explain what it is. And I did it wrong. And I talked about somebody, I bashed somebody, I did this, I did that in a wrong way, as opposed to a way to try to help. I did it in a way to try to destroy. 1 or 2 were literally, I've made 5, I think there's 5 videos now, I just haven't posted. Because 2 words in all 5 of those videos, I said, there was negativity in it that wasn't right. I get why people do what they do. I understand why people are doing what they're doing, and it's for you to make that decision if you want to work with that person or be around that person. It's not for me to say who you shouldn't talk to, who you shouldn't be around, what you shouldn't be doing. That's not for me to do, and that's what I want to get more people into. Not saying that my thinking is correct. I don't know. But I do know that when there's chaos going on, like chaos going on in our country right now, I don't jump, I don't move, I don't react, I don't respond. I have zero in it, like zero, zilch. And that's not what I see going on around me. I see a lot of people that are so anxious right now, so on edge right now. And I'm just like, why? What the heck are you anxious and nervous for right now? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's a beautiful way to be able to be, not on edge, man. And that to me is something that I want to be able to share that with as many people as possible, so that you can be the expert of your life, to be able to do what you want to do, have to do, need to do, as opposed to what someone else is trying to tell you to do. That's why you're struggling right now. Thank you. Hey, Ophi, your nose is just not like how she out here looking for these bunnies. I can hear her sniffing and going. There's a whole bunch out here right now. I don't know why. Oh yeah, because I don't run the dogs out here often. But we're probably gonna get them all flushed out here soon. Something fascinating about getting away from doing what I guess I could say everyone's doing. It leads me in a way of being able to just not be reactive. Because when I started going to more and more people's houses and seeing these reactive dogs, it just really got me thinking a lot. Especially with just seeing my own reactive dogs. I was like, what the heck is going on here? What is going Kahi, we're not going that way right now. Ophi, seeing other people's reactive dogs, it really got me thinking, like, why are we all so reactive? Why are we all so in our feelings? Kahi, you on the wrong side of the fence, homie. Yes. You'll figure it out. Come here. Why everybody in this reactive and in your feelings and can't like function mode? And I've been doing all I can to figure out how to get the heck out of that. And I've been able to get out of that by just understanding that not everything out here is to help us. There's a lot of stuff out here that just wants to try to destroy us for some reason, in a way of just taking something from you. Simply your money, your time, your energy, your smile from you. Like, there's just so much that people just want to take. And it's hard to tell the difference between someone who wants to take to help you or take to help themselves. Because there's one thing that I do know about this land, is that I got to help people out. I got to help someone else out. I got to do everything I can to make sure that you get into a better place. And then I will be able to get into that place. I'm not going to try to gain for myself to be able to destroy you so that I can get and have more. That's not the way that this world works. That's not how even anything works on this planet, I realize. And that's something that is just the norm today. And I want to be able to help people be able to understand, be able to see the differences between some good stuff and some stuff that's just trying to use you.